A loving couple is found left for dead.
Her body's cold to the touch. She's been dead for a while.
What seems like an open and shut case
It's got grounder written all over it.
is anything but.
What in the hell?
You don't see that every day, now do you?
I never had another case quite like this.
As Joe Kenda and a team of investigators search for answers, the truth may be hiding behind closed doors.
The canvas turned up something pretty interesting.
In these investigations, you always arrive at the family secrets. Secrets that people are never told.
This was a tale of love and jealousy and revenge.
The interesting part of police work, you can go from being bored to tears to sheer terror in a microsecond. It is, in many ways, the greatest show on earth. It is humanity.
There's one thing that never changes: murder. A life has been taken. Their stories are now my stories. I never know where a case is going to lead, but I'll never stop until it's solved. Somebody has to look out for the victim. If you kill, I will find you.
It's 19-year-old Prince Lee's birthday. But instead of celebrating, he, his brother, and his mother are on a mission.
I can't believe your father's doing this to you on your birthday.
Mom, relax. Maybe he got busy or something.
Yeah, maybe he just doesn't care. They had gone over to the father's residence because they hadn't heard from him in several days.
Dad! Open up! Dad!
Prince's older brother, Preston III, is trying the door. It's locked.
Open up!
They don't really know what's going on.
His car's here.
Let's try the back.
Dad! Dad?
Let Preston go.
He always gets to go. Dad, you here? Maybe he just isn't home.
Well, where the hell could he be?
Prince and his mother Shinsu are waiting to hear what's going on, and all of a sudden,
Oh my God! Mom!
Preston, what happened? What's wrong?
It's just 4 years into his homicide career, and Lieutenant Joe Kenda has already been promoted to the rank of sergeant
All right, people.
and assigned to a new unit.
We're still having reports of that peeping Tom over on Platt and Sherwood. Let's knock on a few doors, see what we can find out.
The theory in the police department is that it would be unfair to you and to your coworkers for you to suddenly be their supervisor. So when you're promoted in rank, you're immediately transferred from that unit. And in my particular case, it was going from homicide to the patrol division.
Also, Drew, what'd you find out about that gas station robbery from a few nights ago?
No suspects yet.
Well, make sure you swing by there and follow up on that. Is 5-3?
Shots fired, no one circle. Code 3, medical is around.
10-4, we're on the way. All right, let's go, people. Be careful out there. Back here with me.
So all we know is it is a shooting. Medical is en route, which means somebody's been hit. You can go from being bored to tears to sheer terror in a microsecond. It is, in many ways, the greatest show on earth. It is humanity.
Sector 3, is anyone else available?
Fordham 61 en route, seconds away.
Fordham 61, wait for our arrival before entry.
Copy.
The training is, for all police officers, do not become John Wayne. You wait for cover.
Has anyone been inside the home yet? No, sir. All right, Jenks, you and I will go in the front. Mac, you cover the back. Got it.
When you arrive at the scene of a shooting, you have no idea if the perpetrator might still be present in the building. So one officer goes to the rear in the event that someone tries to escape out the back of the house.
Police! Police department!
We announce our presence in a loud voice, and we start searching the rooms one at a time.
Clear. Clear here. Police! Clear.
When you're conducting a search of a home looking for a shooter, it's about as serious as it gets.
Police! Clear.
You're anticipating you might have to engage in gunfire at any moment. So it's a very cautious move through the house. We find a white female on the floor next to the bed who's been shot in the face.
Clear. Clear. It's clear.
And we find a black male on the bed who suffered a wound to the head.
Let's go ahead and see if medical's here yet. Jeez, Mac. Let me know when medical gets here.
We took the EMTs up the staircase to examine these people in this bedroom.
Nothing.
She's obviously deceased. Her body's cold to the touch. She's been dead for a while.
The EMTs start working on the male.
As the EMT touched this guy, they discover he's alive,
I'll go get the backboard.
which is pretty startling. We're going to transport this guy for medical treatment by a doctor.
As the injured man is transported to the hospital, Kenda takes control of the scene.
Jenks, I want you to set up a perimeter. Start talking to the neighbors. Mac, get homicide on the horn. We got a dead body upstairs.
On it, Sarge.
Our job is to contain this, to determine what the basic parameters are.
So we'll call it in.
2 sons and the ex-wife.
We talk to them. Where are they?
Yeah, they followed the ambulance to the hospital.
The whole family is following the ambulance to the hospital, so there's going to be no opportunity to speak to them for a while.
They say anything about the victims?
Yeah, it's a 48-year-old Preston Lee Jr., retired Air Force.
Preston Lee Jr. retired from the military as a first sergeant E7 and currently was working for the Postal Service.
Lives here alone. He bought the house less than a year ago.
And what about the female?
She is an Ingrid Davis. She's the girlfriend.
Ingrid didn't live at the house, but she was there frequently. She worked part-time at a fitness club in town in their finance department.
Let's go secure the body till homicide gets here.
Yes, sir.
Containment. This house is ours. No one goes in, no one comes out unless we say so.
So what do you think? It seems to me this got grounder written all over it.
A grounder in baseball is the easiest out at first base, and in police work, a grounder is the easiest case to resolve.
You're thinking murder-suicide?
Yeah, except the guy made it.
When you've got a romantic relationship with 2 people and you find them in a situation like this, your first thought is this could very well be homicide-suicide.
I'd agree with you, but there's one problem with your theory.
Yeah, what's that?
Where's the gun?
If you're going to shoot yourself in the head, you're certainly not going to walk the gun out of the place afterwards. This isn't a murder-suicide. It's a whodunit. scene of a shooting in which 2 people have been shot. One is dead, one is not dead. I am the patrol supervisor at that scene, and we are conducting a brief overview of the place. We have contained it. We have summoned lab people and detectives.
Kenda.
Gentlemen, long time no see.
So, you're the big boss man now. What, no time for the little people?
Yeah, whatever.
When the detectives arrived, it was a very congenial atmosphere. I worked with both of these guys in Homicide, and I know them very well.
So what are we looking at, Kenda?
We got male-female couple. Female was shot in the face. Male was shot in the head. They're still alive. They had to transport him to the hospital.
So murder-suicide?
What do you think? The trouble is we didn't find a weapon.
That certainly changes things now, doesn't it?
If there's no murder weapon at the scene, you obviously deduct that the suspect has fled the area, which makes it even more difficult.
Looks like someone had a night out in the town. It does indeed.
Ingrid is dressed to the nines. She's got white dress, jacket, red high heels. This would tell them that she apparently had just arrived home.
So, she comes home, says hello to her boyfriend, and then the killer strikes. She's shot standing over the bed. When she falls, she pulls the sheets down with her. What about the phone? She's all tangled up in the cord. Yeah, that's a good question.
She most likely was going to the phone to call for help when the killer attacked her.
Things were knocked off the nightstand. It had all the appearances of some type of a struggle going on there.
So when exactly did this happen? Because this blood...
Hey, you know how Bomberman doesn't like people that mess with his bodies.
Yeah, good point.
The coroner at the time was Dr. Bowerman, and he was a stickler about leaving bodies undisturbed.
Dr. Bowerman, if he said the rule was this, then that's what was going to be followed. And if you didn't follow it, you were going to hear about it.
What I was saying is all this blood seems pretty dry. So the murder most likely happened quite a while ago.
Large pools of blood at the scene, if they're dry, that tells you that body's been there for hours, if not days.
The additional evidence that might suggest a timeline. Kenda, I could use an extra set of eyes. Hey, let's see if you can find anything that'll tell us when this happened. Just start over there, okay?
You always try to pinpoint the time of death if at all possible. Where was this victim between A and B? Who had an opportunity to commit this offense?
As investigators sweep the house, Detective Reichert makes a curious discovery.
What in the hell?
Hey guys, come check this out.
You don't see that every day now, do you?
There were 2 small lovebirds in a cage, and they were both dead.
It doesn't look like they have anything to drink. How long can a bird go without water? I don't know. A couple days?
If these birds died from lack of hydration for multiple days, then that means the bird's owner was incapacitated for that amount of time.
Detective Reichert.
Yeah.
Found these out front.
How many?
3.
3 newspapers would indicate perhaps this crime occurred 3 days prior.
If they are right, whoever is responsible for this crime has a 3-day head start.
You're gonna start moving fast and checking into these people's backgrounds.
The key to solving this case is who are these people? Who in their lives would let them dead?
It doesn't take long for Kenda and company to get a possible answer to that question.
Hey, Sarge, detectives. Our canvas turned up something pretty interesting. So what do you got? Well, apparently our female victim, Ingrid Davis, is involved with another man.
Do we know what that is?
Yeah, her husband. They've got kids together, too.
When police start looking into Ingrid's private life, they find out that, well, lo and behold, she's married, but not to Preston Jr.
Ingrid was actually still living with her husband, even though she had this ongoing affair with Preston.
What's this guy's name?
Daryl Davis.
So you have to wonder, is Daryl Davis the guy who decides that enough is enough? And he's going to take revenge on both Ingrid Davis and her boyfriend. That's entirely possible. In fact, it might even be likely. At this point in this investigation, the victim, Ingrid Davis, had been cheating on her husband with Preston Lee. Seeing that we may have a romantic triangle on our hands, Mr. Davis's name rises to the top of the suspect list.
Okay, we gotta get moving on this. Where's our surviving victim?
Our Memorial Hospital.
All right, Spencer, why don't you head over to Memorial in case this guy's somehow ready to give a statement?
You got it.
Kenda, can you and your guys maintain the scene and continue canvassing the neighborhood?
Of course.
All right. Thanks, guys.
While Kenda holds down the fort, Detective Reichert heads to the home of their prime suspect, 42-year-old Daryl Davis.
Hi, I'm looking for Mr. Davis. Is he home?
Dad, someone's here for you.
When he gives the death notification, Reichert is going to pay particular attention. He's hiding something.
Can I help you?
Daryl, I'm Detective Reichert with the Colorado Springs Police Department. I'm sorry to tell you this, but something's happened to your wife, Ingrid.
What, is she okay?
I'm afraid not. She's dead.
When detectives told Daryl that Ingrid had been found dead, there was not a big response from Daryl.
What happened?
She was found shot at a man named Preston Lee's residence. Apparently they were in some type of a relationship.
Yeah, I know.
You do?
Daryl was pretty much blasé about it. He came across as somebody who wasn't really bothered by it.
Do you mind if we talk inside?
Yeah, come on in.
Thank you. So, how long has this affair been going on?
4 years.
4 years?
I've been married about 20 years, but the relationship was deteriorating. She wanted more freedom, but neither of us wanted a divorce, so we worked out an arrangement.
An arrangement? What type of an arrangement?
Daryl explains she acted like his wife and she took care of the house and that sort of thing. But the agreement was that she could come and go as she pleased. There was no question about her behavior. So rather than upset the apple cart, apparently, he decided to just carry on.
Did your kids know about this?
Yeah. My brother and I knew, but we didn't agree with it. I thought it was a horrible idea.
I think most people in a situation like this would right away say, your wife's openly fooling around and you're just going to let it go on.
Well, be that as it may, Daryl, I'm going to need you to confirm your whereabouts on Thursday evening and early Friday morning.
Look, I didn't kill my wife.
I understand, but you're still going to have to prove that.
Thursday night, I got home from work around 8. My wife wasn't here, so I had dinner with the kids and then went to bed.
Can anyone confirm that?
I can. He was here the whole time.
Daryl was home having dinner, and he wasn't on West Owen Circle with a gun in his hand. So this establishes an alibi for Daryl.
Do either of you know where Ingrid was going on Thursday night?
She was going out to dinner with her coworkers.
So, what do you think?
Nice heels.
They're too much, are they?
She was wearing a white dress and red heels. She looked nice. Where are you off to all fancy?
I've got a dinner with some coworkers. You guys can eat without me.
Are you coming home tonight?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna stay at Preston's tonight.
Of course you are.
Okay. I love you, honey.
Yeah, I love you too.
When that body was discovered in Preston Lee's house, she was wearing the exact outfit she was wearing when her daughter last saw her.
Do you know anyone else who might be able to tell me more information about Ingrid and Preston's relationship? It's vital that we know who may have wanted to hurt them.
Try talking to Ruth French.
Who's she?
She's Ingrid's best friend.
If Ingrid was going to confide in anybody, it was going to be Ruth French to tell her what was really going on in her life.
Well, thank you very much for the information. And again, I am so very sorry for your loss. Someone from the police department will be by tomorrow to follow up, but if either of you can think of anything that might be of some help to us, please let us know.
In these investigations, you always arrive at the family secrets. Secrets that people are never told. It's about what people do. I was often disappointed in the behavior, but I was never surprised.
Meanwhile, Detective Spencer has just gotten the go-ahead to interview gunshot victim Preston Lee Jr. from his recovery room.
5 minutes. Thanks, Doc.
When I was told that Mr. Lee was conscious, obviously I wanted to get in there as fast as I could.
Mr. Lee? My name's Detective Spencer. I'm wondering if you can answer a few questions for me.
I was somewhat shocked that he was even in any kind of condition to cooperate with me.
Mr. Lee, do you know who shot you?
Yeah.
Who did it? What's his name? I'm sorry, I couldn't understand you.
Preston Lee was in and out of consciousness, even though he was moving all of his extremities.
Come on, Mr. Lee, who shot you? Me.
I wanted to say, I just came from home. I didn't shoot you, pal.
Mr. Lee? Mr. Lee? Mr. Lee, I need a name.
Detective, I'm sorry, but he needs his rest. We really need to leave.
You gotta understand that he's had a bullet essentially travel into his brain. He's got significant brain trauma. So the answers that come out after he's questioned aren't going to be particularly useful.
Back at the crime scene, Kenda is supervising the removal of Ingrid Davis's body.
How you guys doing?
Okay. Cool. In most cases, the coroner or medical examiner's office is there and they recover the body. But this case was a little bit different in that the actual group that came to get the body was a funeral home.
So, where's your body bag?
We don't exactly have one.
How do you plan on transporting the body?
Oh, we've got plastic for that.
Okay, if Bauman's all right with that, I'm not gonna tell you guys how to do your job. You know Bauman's gonna want all that, right?
Well, he's pretty clear about transporting everything as is.
Byron was always strict about how the body should be handled, so that anything in, on, or around that body would be available to him.
So all the things that are on and around her also get scooped up into the sheet as well.
Outside, Kenda is apprised of a new lead.
Sarge,
What's up, James?
I have somebody who'd like to speak with you. Sergeant Kenda, this is Mr. Edward Dowd. He lives across the street.
So what do you have for us?
Well, I saw Shinsu and her kids shortly after they found the bodies, and her son Preston was acting kind of strange.
Strange how? Edward Dowd had told him that Preston Lee was kind of cold and basically not caring. That Mr. Dowd felt that was peculiar.
You think Preston could have been responsible for this?
I don't know, but you think a kid would shed a tear after finding his father's dead body?
What if Preston III decides that his father has done his mother wrong? That maybe it's best if Ingrid just goes away and never comes back. And while he's at it, maybe it's just as well that Preston goes too. this investigation, one of the neighbors brings up the fact that Preston Lee III, the son of the victim, had no emotional. Preston III has risen to the level of interest because of that fact.
While Kenda oversees the transfer of Ingrid's body to the morgue, Detective Spencer is at Memorial Hospital,
Preston,
questioning his new lead.
I know this is all hard for you to process right now, but I'm wondering if you could tell me a little bit about your relationship with your dad.
What you want to know?
How are things between you guys lately? Been getting along?
Hardly. I haven't seen him much ever since he moved into his new house.
Take care of your mom.
Yeah.
The father obviously cares more about his girlfriend than he does his family.
Aren't your parents divorced?
Yeah, but it's not about that. He spends all his money on Ingrid.
His affair with Ingrid was all-consuming, and he wasn't helping to provide for Shinsu and his sons.
His pension is hard enough to live on as it is. And then he goes buys his new house for her?
He buys outfits for her, clothing, jewelry.
How exactly does he afford all of it?
He started working at the post office. But even still, all his money goes towards her.
He believed his father was obsessed with this woman in a totally unnatural kind of way, and he was blinded by love.
Birds.
How much you like them?
They are so beautiful. And I love them. Thank you. Thank you, sweet.
I want this to feel like home to you.
Look at my little babies.
So Preston Lee Jr. is living in a dream world.
I just don't even know who he is anymore. And then this happens.
Preston III is upset, and with good reason. But is he upset enough to kill his father and Ingrid?
Preston, can you tell me where you were Thursday evening?
I had class.
Where?
Why are you asking me this? You think I had something to do with Ingrid?
I didn't say that. But we need to make sure we cover all of our bases.
Look, I may hate my dad's relationship with Ingrid, but I would never do anything to hurt her or my dad.
Preston III is adamant that he had nothing to do with this murder.
I hear you, but could you please just tell me where you're taking classes?
Pikes Peak Community. I take classes there every Tuesday and Thursday night.
Can anyone confirm you were there?
My professor? My brother?
Appreciate your cooperation. Again, I'm sorry you're in the middle of all of this.
Yeah, me too.
While Spencer confirms Preston's alibi, Detective Reichert meets with Ingrid's best friend, Ruth French, at the Air Force NCO Club.
Miss French, I realize this is very difficult, but I was hoping you could give me some insight into Ingrid and Preston's relationship.
Well, I hate to admit it, but I was there when they first met.
You were?
Ruth is the linchpin in this arrangement. She is dialed into the facts and circumstances of who is in love with whom.
Preston was here all the time, and a couple years ago, Ingrid came down to visit me, and Preston introduced himself.
Ruth, what's going on?
Hey, not much. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. But you could introduce me to your friend right here.
This is Ingrid.
Ingrid, huh? Pretty name for a pretty lady. What's that you're drinking on?
Martini, dry.
I like it. Hey, Ruth, one more dry martini for Ingrid here. Let's put it on my tab.
They instantly hit it off, and before we knew it, Preston divorced his wife, and Ingrid came to an agreement with Daryl.
So they were in love.
At first they were.
I'm really glad you came over.
I had to get up the courage.
But as years went by, Preston started to become a obsessive. He wanted Ingrid to leave Daryl and marry him.
Ingrid insisted to Preston Lee that she was not going to do that. She was married and going to stay that way. She would see him at her convenience. And that wasn't enough for Preston Lee.
Every time she would deny him, he would become more and more aggressive. She didn't like it. Do you know about the birdcage incident?
No. So Ruth tells an amazing story. That Preston Lee had come over to her house in a jealous rage.
Ingrid, you said you were going to leave him today!
I never said that.
Yes, you did!
Misunderstood me. Preston, put the gun down!
And he had a handgun with him, a .38 caliber revolver.
Ingrid, I'm so tired of hearing that!
Get out!
I'm sorry, Ingrid.
Get out!
I'm sorry.
Get out now! The bullet whizzed by Ingrid's head and went through her birdcage and into the wall.
Daryl never mentioned that when I spoke with him.
That's because Daryl doesn't know.
She was so concerned that her husband would discover this that she covered up the bullet hole in the wall in such a way that you couldn't see it.
Why didn't she just end it all with Preston?
She couldn't. She was afraid he'd go through with his threats.
Preston Lee Jr. had told her directly that she was so much his life that if she ever rejected him, he would kill her and then himself.
To be honest, when I found out she was dead, I thought Preston did it.
This birdcage incident is the first time that they really get a glimpse into the fact that Preston might have been actually violent.
This friendship has been very helpful to me. And I'm sorry for your loss.
Of course.
So police need to find out, did this really happen? And if he could do that then, what else was he capable of?
Within the hour, Detective Reichert is back at Daryl Davis's house to investigate Ruth's claims.
What? Been a gunshot in my house? I don't think so.
Well, you wouldn't mind if I took a look, would you?
Be my guest. I just don't think you'll find anything.
I hope you're right. Has this birdcage been here long?
Yeah.
So they inspect the area of the wall where Ruth said this occurred. And they find a hole. That is a .38 caliber bullet hole. Bullet wipe on the drywall, lead. So they find physical evidence to confirm what Ruth said is true.
Well, I'll be damned. Why wouldn't she have told me?
I guess she wanted to hide the fact that she was very much in danger and didn't want her family to know.
If you are so determined to retain a relationship that you're willing to overlook the obvious danger involved, that is almost self-destructive.
This new development has investigators circling back to the possibility of murder-suicide. Could Preston have...
Classic dominant male, submissive female murder-suicide scenario. But if that's the case, where the hell is the gun?
Where do you want this, Doc?
Put it on the desk. Don't touch anything, Kenda. I know how you are.
Sorry. Dr. Barman was quite the character. He's sort of your classic, old-time, gruff forensic pathologist. He was the king, and the morgue was his kingdom.
Hey, Barman. Did I miss anything?
No, you're just in time. Anybody mess with the body at the scene?
Nope. Nobody touched a thing.
Good. We know what happened?
No. First we were thinking maybe murder-suicide, but there was no weapon found on the scene.
Well, let's see if the body can tell us anything.
When he examined the remains of Ingrid Davis, he determined she was dead from a single-entry gunshot wound to the lower jaw.
Right to the brain. I'd say she died instantly.
He further unwrapped the blankets. And everyone's jaws dropped. I was a patrol supervisor assigned initially to respond to the shooting involving Ingrid Davis and Preston Lee Jr. And the very thing we couldn't find at the crime scene became found at the autopsy. So when Dr. Barman is unfolding this bundle of blankets and sheets, he exposes a 2-inch .38 caliber revolver.
Unbelievable. Must have been in there the entire time.
It's easy to miss a piece of evidence like that in a scenario like this. If the coroner says, I want everything wrapped up and transported with that body, that's what's going to happen.
It's 38.
The gun found at the autopsy was the same type of gun that Preston used to fire through Ingrid's birdcage.
Does that answer any questions for you?
It certainly does.
The discovery of that gun was the final straw in what became obvious was a murder, followed by attempted suicide.
Sometimes what you find in autopsy essentially solves the mystery.
The following day, Detective Spencer returns to the hospital to re-interview a now stabilized Preston Lee Jr.
Mr. Lee, new evidence has come to our attention. I'm gonna have to ask you again if you know who shot you and Ingrid.
I don't know.
Mr. Lee, did you shoot Ingrid? And then try to kill yourself?
I'm not going to say anything else.
Mr. Lee?
Mr. Lee invoked his right to remain silent, so the questioning was over at that moment.
Okay.
Although Preston Lee Jr. doesn't confess to the murder, it's pretty clear to investigators what happened on the night in question.
Are you serious?
I believe Preston was probably jealous and mad about the fact that she'd gone with her co-workers.
Ingrid.
That she'd stayed out late drinking.
Bye, Cindy. See you tomorrow.
When Ingrid came back from her dinner arrangement, Mr. Lee was about to be in bed.
Hi.
Where the hell have you been?
Mr. Lee became distressed. Another fit of jealous rage, perhaps?
You were supposed to be here hours ago.
Look, I know I'm sorry, okay?
As usual, whatever Ingrid wants to do, Ingrid does.
Excuse me?
Excuse me, Ingrid. We only have so much time to spend together, and you wasted getting drunk.
Preston, I am not drunk.
You know what? Maybe if you left your damn husband like you said you would, this wouldn't even be a problem.
Over the space of 4 years, Ingrid kept saying that she would get divorced and marry Preston.
When are you gonna leave that prick and marry me?
Preston, you know I can't do that.
She made one excuse after the other why she wouldn't end her marriage. I think Preston was tired of her excuses.
Look around. I've done all this for you. I bought this house just for us. But nothing I ever do is good enough for you.
This went on and it went on and it went on.
I mean it. Are you gonna leave him or not?
Preston, I'll lose my kids if I do that.
She probably said more than once that she wanted to be home with her kids at Christmas, and I think it just set him off.
I don't want to hear that.
No, get off of me.
No.
There's no doubt there was some kind of a struggle that ensued there.
No.
She tried to get to the phone to call 911.
No. I can't. I can't.
I think after he shot her, he contemplated killing himself. And whether he flinched or whether the trigger pull was tighter than he anticipated, he didn't shoot himself where he intended to.
and he laid there for 3 days. And it's remarkable in many ways that he managed to survive this for that long of a period of time.
Dad.
But obviously he did.
Preston Lee Jr. is charged with second-degree murder. However, he's allowed to plead guilty to manslaughter and serve only 4 years behind bars, but with good reason.
Because Preston had serious brain injury, he had long-lasting physical ailments. He had epilepsy, he had motor skill problems. He was severely incapacitated because of the wound to his head.
Mr. Lee was going to require long-term physical care at great expense. If the judge had required more time in prison, he would actually be sentencing Mr. Lee to a hospital and not to a jail. That may not be the correct thing in many people's minds, but it's the practical thing.
Regardless of Preston's physical state, nothing can change what transpired between him and Ingrid Davis.
This was a tale of love and jealousy and revenge. If I can't have you, no one can have you.
When people engage in this kind of behavior, they leave a wide wake in their path. They impact many lives. The children of both sides, the ex-wife of one side, the husband of the other. It's the rippling emotion that never seems to stop. It's a poisonous thing, and poison is almost always fatal.